Okay, so in the previous class we have seen the restoring division. Okay, this is the algorithm for restoring division. This we have already seen. The problem is that in this restoring division you have to do the restore operation, which is a time consuming thing. Means you are doing the a minus m and then you are checking the bit and again you are doing the a plus m, which is a unnecessary work. Okay, then there is another algorithm came, that is called the non restoring division. In this case you don't have to do the a plus m thing. Okay, this extra step you don't have to do. So how they have what is the concept behind this non restoring division? Okay, so in the previous case, let's go to the algorithm. Okay, in this algorithm you have seen that you have to first shift to the left side, then you are doing a is equal to a minus m. Okay, and then you are checking the bit. If it is negative, then do a is equal to a plus m. Okay, then if we represent it in some type of in some different type of way, same things but in a different way, in restoring division what we are doing, if a n bit is equal to positive, so let's take if a n this bit is equal to positive. Okay, if it is equal to positive, then what we are doing, you are setting the q0 value and you are going to the first step, you are shifting it to the left side, shifting a and q to the left side and doing a is equal to a minus m. Okay, that's what you are doing. So whenever it is n is positive, you are shifting a and q to the left side and you are doing a is equal to a minus m. Okay, so you know what is shifting left means. Suppose there is a bit, suppose there is a binary number called 100. Okay, so if you are shifting it left side, then what you are getting, 1000. What is the relation between this number and this binary number? Can anyone tell me? What is 100? Decimal number 4. Okay, and this is 8, so that means we have multiplied by 2. Okay, so when we are doing a left shift, it is multiplying by 2. So whenever you will do a left shift to this number as well, then also you are multiplying it by 2, that means 16. Okay, so 8 multiplied by 2 is equal to 16. So this is what the concept. Okay, so when you are multiplying it to the left side one time, then it is multiplied by 2. Okay, so that's what we have done here. So in the restoring algorithm, we are doing whenever a n is equal to positive, then we are shifting left a, that means we are doing 2 into a operation. Okay, 2 into a operation, and then we are deducting minus m from it. Okay, so first we are shifting left a and q. Okay, so whenever we are shifting it left, it is 2a, and then we are minus this m, so 2a minus m. So this is the overall work we are doing in when this a n is equal to positive. Okay, and what we are doing when a n is equal to negative, let's see. When a n bit is equal to negative, we are doing a is equal to a plus m, then we are shifting a and q and doing a is equal to a minus m. These three steps we are doing. Whenever a n bit is negative, we are doing these three steps. Okay, so let's see. When a n is equal to negative, okay, we are doing a is equal to a plus m, then we are doing shifting left a, and then we are deducting minus m from a. Okay, which is equivalent to, these three steps are equivalent to 2a, okay, then 2m minus m. How this happened? Because you are shifting this a plus m. So if you shift both a plus m, then it will be 2a plus 2m. Okay, so this is 2a plus 2m, and then we are deducting minus m from it. So deduct minus m from it. Okay, then you will get 2a plus m. Understood? So from this you can see that this can be converted as shift left a, then a minus m. Okay, and this can be written as shift left a and do a plus m. Okay, so there are two cases now. Whenever a and b is positive, you do shift at a and then do a minus m. Whenever a n is negative, you shift left a and do a plus m. Okay, that means in both the cases we are doing some a minus m and a plus m with the shifting operation. Okay, so this is the logic for your restoring division, non-restoring division. Okay, so let's see the algorithm. This is the algorithm. Okay, step 1, check the an bit. Okay, if it is 0, that means it is positive. So what we have told, what we will do, we will shift left a and we will do the a minus 1. So we will do the same thing, shift left aq and do a is equal to a minus m. Okay, else that means a and bit is negative, that means 1. In that case, what we will do, whenever it is negative, where is that, negative, we will do shift left a and a plus m, shift left aq and do a plus m. Okay, these two things very easy to understand. Okay, these two steps. Then we have to set the q0 bit also. So q0 bit will be set based on the previous method. Whenever a and equal to 0, it will be q0 bit will be 1. So like our previous algorithm, whenever a and bit is negative, negative means q0 value is equal to 0. A and bit is 0 means positive, that means q0 value is equal to 1. Okay, so this is positive case, so a and bit is positive, q0 value equal to 1. This is similar to the restoring division. Only thing we have changed is we have taken this restoring division and interpreted in a different way. Okay, then this is the step 1. This you have to do n number of times. Okay, and after all the n number of times are over, at the end you have to check if step 2 an is equal to 1. If a and bit is equal to 1, then do a is equal to a plus m. That means what? If a and bit is negative, we are making it positive. Okay, so this is the algorithm. Let's go to the example. Okay, after we will discuss the example, you can able to understand how this algorithm works. Okay, this is the same example that we have taken in the previous class. Okay, so m is equal to 3, q is equal to 4. Okay, so no, sorry, 8. Okay, so we are doing 8 by 3. Okay, so q is equal to 8, we'll put it here, q register. A is equal to all zeros. Okay, 5 number of bits are zeros. Then what we will check, the first step is saying that check the an bit, either it is 0 or 1. We will check the an bit. This is a register, this is the an bit. Okay, this is a0 bit, this is q0 bit, this is qn minus 1 bit. Okay, you see those representation. This is an bit, check the an bit is 0. That means if condition is satisfied. Okay, when an bit is 0, what we have to do, we have to shift left and we have to do minus operation. Okay, so shift left a and q. So whenever we will shift left a and q, this will come here and there will be a gap here. So we will see what we will put later. Okay, so the first operation is shift left. When we will do shift left operation, all bits are shifted towards left side. Okay, like we have done in the previous class, this bit will be unknown. We will see what we will do with that bit. After shifting operation, the next instruction is a is equal to a minus m. Okay, what is minus m? We have already calculated the 2's complement of m, that is your minus m. So we have to do a minus m. What is a? A is this one, minus m is this one. So add both of them. Okay, so this plus this. What is the result? 1 1 1 4 1 and 0. Okay, and q is same. Next what? This if step is over, else we will not do. So we will go with this case. If an is equal to 0, q0 equal to 1, else q0 equal to 0. We will see if an is equal to 0, no. So we have to execute else part, that is q0 value is equal to 0. Okay, then we will put q0 value is equal to 0. Okay, then this is the answer after the first round. Okay, a and q value. Next go to the second round. Second round again we will check the first bit. What is the first bit? First bit is 1 now. So if it is 1, this will not satisfy, else part we have to execute. In else part we have to shift left take q and we have to do a plus m. Okay, so let's shift it to the left side. So whenever we will shift to the left side, we will get this result. Okay, we have shifted, this went outside, this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here, 0 came here, this is here. Okay, and we will get a gap that we will fill later. Okay, so after this we have to do a is equal to a plus m. Okay, so if we will do a is equal to a plus m, I think I forgot to write it here, a is equal to a plus m. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. M value is 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 1. Okay, that we have to add with a. Okay, and we will get this result. Okay, q value is same. Next we will find out what to put inside q0. So for that we have to check again the an bit. An bit is 1, so an bit is 1 means q0 value is equal to 0. Okay, so we will put a 0 in this, q0 value equal to 0. This is our second step, and hence you will do all these steps, and at the end you will get the remainder. You will get the remainder and quotient. But before that, let's see the step number 2. Okay, so after 4 steps are over, why we are doing up to 4 steps? Because here our bit n bit is 4. Okay, because here you can see our q value is 4. Okay, this is n plus 1, this is n plus 1. We normally told na, a0 to an minus 1 is the number, plus 1 sign bit is extra, so that is n plus 1 number of bits. Here also m0 to mn minus 1, that is n number of bits and 1 extra bit. Okay, so this is a n plus 1 bit adder. So this is n plus 1, this is n plus 1, this is n. Okay, so how many bits are there in q? 4 bits are there. So in q 4 bits are there, that means n is equal to 4. So we have to do 4 number of iterations here. Okay, so after the 4 number of iteration, what is our result? This is our result. Okay, so after this what we will check? The last step, that is step number 2. We have to check if an bit is 1 or not. Yes, an bit is 1. So what we will do? We will add a plus m. Okay, so do a is equal to a plus m. Okay, then we will get our remainder and quotient is here. Okay, so this is our non-restoring division, because here you don't have to do a minus 1 and a plus m, a minus m and a plus m to restore your data. Okay, previously what we are doing here, we are doing the a minus m operation and then we are doing a plus m operation, so that the original result will be restored. But in this case we are not doing anything like that. Okay, so that is the division process for binary number, and in this case we have seen only the positive division. Okay, positive number division. What will happen if it is a signed division? Signed number, that means negative number. In that case, only in the book it is written 2 lines about the sign division. For signed division, the operands has to be transferred to positive number. That means the operands has to be converted to positive number by 2's complement, and then the result can be also transferred to correct signed value if necessary. Suppose you are dividing -4 by 2. Okay, you have to convert -4 to positive number, do the division, and then the result will be in negative. So again you have to convert the positive number to the negative number. Okay, so this is your homework, how to do the signed division, that I will not tell you. Okay, you check it from the book, it is not there. I think you have to check from the net. Okay, so that's the end of division. Next we will start with floating point numbers and operations. Okay, floating point number. What is floating point number? You already know what is a float. Okay, so let's start with this question. What is the biggest number you can generate with a 32-bit binary signed representation? Who can tell? What is the biggest number you can generate with a 32-bit signed binary number? Can you able to calculate what will be the biggest number we can generate? Obviously the biggest number will be all 1, 32-bit. So how many ones are there? Obviously you have to leave the first bit because it is not sign, it is a sign bit. So all 31 bits 1. Yes, that is correct. So 31 number of bits are 1. So what will be the decimal equivalent of this? 2 to the power 31 is equal to 10 to the power how much? Can anybody tell me in decimal notation what is the biggest value we can get after doing the operation? What is the biggest value in decimal? If we convert this binary number, this all 31-bit binary number into decimal, what is the result? I think 2 to the 2 point something into 10 to the power 9 or something. Can you able to see? Can you able to check? Let's go to binary 2.15. Yes, 2.15 point, that one. Yes, we'll convert it here, binary to decimal. Let's write 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31. Convert. I missed only one more one, I think. Okay, okay, so as you can see, if you convert the all 31 bits to a decimal number, this is the decimal number. What if I will convert it as 2 point something into 10 to the power something? What will be the result? You can convert it as 2.15 into 10 to the power. How much power will be there? 1 2 10 to the power 9, right? Okay, so it will be this one. So 2.15 into 10 to the power 9. So the biggest number you can represent in this format is 2.15 into 10 to the power 9. Do you know any bigger number than this? Have you ever seen any bigger number than this number? Can you able to tell anywhere you have seen a number that is bigger than this number? Do you remember what is Planck's constant? Anybody can tell what is Planck's constant? Avogadro's number, Graham's number. Okay, and what about atom, size of an atom? It will be in minus something. Okay, so as it is signed number, it will be plus minus this one. Okay, so mostly if you represent it in case of a signed uh, like this signed integer, then you are getting around this much big, but usually we work more than this type of values, like 10 to the power 30, okay, or 10 to the power 50 also we can work. Okay, some numbers are like that. That is one reason why we will not use this type of convention in our floating point operation. Okay, so this is a float and the size is very less. Okay, and using 32 bit we can represent up to 10 to the power 9 only. That is one reason. Okay, next reason is that this is the biggest number in integer we can save. What about 0.000000000001? Can you able to represent it in 32 bit? That is also very difficult. Suppose you want to represent 0.01 into 10 to the power minus 30, something like this type of number also you can see in physics. Okay, so in science it is very difficult to means the numbers are either very big, okay, or like the light year, how much distance is there from sun to earth, or earth to moon, or something like that. So those numbers are very big, which we cannot able to represent using this method. Okay, so that's why we need some other type of representation. Okay, so like this we cannot able to represent, or like this 0.111111 also you cannot able to represent. Okay, so if you give 0.11111, what is the biggest value you can get? What is the smallest value you can get? 0 point all zeros and last is 1. Okay, so you can calculate what is the smallest number in fraction also. Okay, that will be very less number, means not that much. We cannot able to represent our bigger numbers in any of the method using this. Okay, using this is the normally called 2's complement method. This is the 2's complement representation. This one, the first bit will be either 0 or 1. This is the signed bit, and rest other bit will represent the number. Okay, so this is the 2's complement method, but we will use something different. Okay, how the binary fractions are represented till now you know that 0.110 will be represented as this is 2 to the power minus 1, this is 2 to the power minus 2, this is 2 to the power minus 3, and dot 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 dot. Okay, so what is 2 to the power minus 1? 2 to the power minus 1 is equal to 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. 2 to the power minus 2 is equal to 1 by 4 is equal to 0.25. Okay, so at the end what we will do, 0.5 plus 0.25 is equal to 0.75. This is the decimal equivalent of this binary number. Okay, so at the end whenever you will see that suppose you have a 32 bit space is available, and the smallest number that you can represent is not the smallest number that we will use in our scientific things. Okay, so in those cases this type of representation will not work, like this 2 to the power minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 dot 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 2 to the power minus 31. This type of representation will not work. Okay, so you have to find out the answer for this. What is the smallest fractional number you can represent using a 32 bit signed representation? Okay, you find out the answer of this. To represent very big and very small fractional number, we need a different representation. Okay, so that's why we are going to read about something called IEEE standard for floating point number representation. Okay, so these are some normal what is this called, some notation. This top part is called the exponent. Okay, this thing is called the significant digits, or in this case we are calling it as a mantissa. Okay, and whenever we will write it in this type of form, it is called a normalized form. What is this normalized form? We can write this 1.45 as 0.145 into 10 to the power 31, something like this. Okay, this number we can write it like this or not, 0.145 into 31. Someone else will write this at 0.00145 into 10 to the power 33. Possible? Okay, these are all the same number, but this is the standardized number. This is called the normalized number. Why? Because the condition says that the first digit will be a non-zero digit before the decimal number. Okay, then it will be a normalized representation. Okay, so this is the normalized form. So now everybody, it is a standard now, so now everybody will follow this type of writing the floating point numbers. Okay, either it is 1.45 into 10 to the power 30 or minus 30, does not matter. You have to write it in this way, where the before decimal you have to write a non-zero number. Okay, either it is 2, either it is 5, whatever it may be. So non-zero number. Okay, yeah, less than 10, any number you can write, up to 9 you can write. Okay, then this is the normalized thing. Next we will start about our IEEE standard for floating point number representation. Okay, so as I have told, there has to be some non-zero number here, x1, then there will be decimal dot, decimal point here, and there are some significant digits will be there, like 1.234567 Okay, so the more number of bits you will be here, it will the value will be more precise. Okay, so it is up to x7, and then there will be multiplication sign, like this multiplication sign, and there will be 10 to the power something, some value. Okay, the value can be positive or negative. Okay, so that's why plus minus, the whole value can be a positive or negative. Okay, so either it is plus 1.45 into 10 to the power 30 or minus 1.45 into 10 to the power 30. So that's why there is a sign here and there is a sign on the top as well. Okay, understood? This is the simple formatting. This type of decimal number we have to represent in binary. Okay, so this is the IEEE standard. Normally in scientific calculation, the significant bit up to x7 is enough. Up to 7 number of digit is enough in normal scientific calculation. Like for example, if this is 5.1203467, something like this. Okay, up to 7 number of bits, 7 number of digit, it is enough. Okay, and if we multiply 10 to the power, how much exponent is enough? Plus minus 99. So we can write something like 99 or minus 99. Okay, so this type of numbers are enough to do our normal regular scientific operation. So that's why it is a format from IEEE is that go for this type of representation, means do up to 7th place precision, and here you can go for plus minus 99. So for this 7th place precision, you need around 24 number of bits in binary to represent a 7-digit decimal significant. Okay, when we do the calculation, we will see that there will be 24 bits are needed to represent a 7 decimal significant number. Okay, and for 99, what will be the number of digit? Obviously 8-bit representation will be enough, because 1 bit will be kept for sign, and rest 7 bit you can generate 2 to the power 7 is equal to 128. Okay, so 7-bit representation is enough for the exponent. Okay, plus 1 bit is for this sign, either plus or minus. Plus we need 1 bit for this sign, this number sign. Okay, we need 1 sign bit to represent the sign of the number. Okay, and we have total of 32 bit. The total length is 32 bit. So if we now represent the total 32 bit, we will divide it as 1 bit for sign number, 8 bit is for exponent, and rest 23 bit is for mantissa. But we have told in the previous case that we need 24 number of bits. So how to accommodate 24 number of bits in this 23? There is one simple thing. What is that thing? We do not need to assign any bit to x1, because we know that that bit will be 1 forever. Because we know already that this x1 bit will be 1. In binary number, obviously there are 1 and 0. There are only 2 bits. So whenever we will represent any value in binary, then it will be 1 point 0101 into 10 to the power into 2 to the power something like that we will write. Okay, so obviously this bit will be 1. Okay, so there is no need to store this bit. So all the 23 bits will be here. Okay, so this x1 bit is not needed. So x2 to x7 can be represented using 23 number of bits. Okay, so this is the idea behind taking only 23 bits in M. Okay, so M will contain 23 number of bits. E will contain 8 bits. This is the sign bit. 0 means positive, 1 means negative. Okay, another thing you have to remember is that if it is 8-bit exponent, what will be the range? Minus 128 to 127, right? This is our normal range in 2's complement representation. Okay, minus 128 to 127, because it is a signed representation. Okay, so the lowest negative number that you can generate is minus 128, and the biggest number that you can generate using a 7-bit number is 127, because 1 bit is hold for sign bit, rest 7 bits are used for representing numbers. Okay, so in this case, in this representation, we will not use 2's complement method. In representing E, we will not use this type of method. Rather, we will convert this number into a unsigned number. Okay, that means we will convert this in the range 0 to 255. Okay, so if we convert it into 0 to 255, we can add 128 to this number, then it will become 0, and we can add 128, so it will become 255. Okay, so if we'll add 128 to this number, it will become 0, and if we add the same 120 bit to all the numbers, then this highest number will be 255. So that is our idea. Okay, but in case of IEEE, they told that add 127 to it. Okay, do not add 128, add 127 to it. So what will be our range then? If we'll add 127 to our exponent, then we will get our range is 0 to 255. Okay, but actually whenever we want to get our original exponent, then the original exponent will lie between minus 126 to 127. Okay, understood? Or any doubt in this case? Suppose you want to change our this range into our original 2's complement type of range, this type of range, then what is the range you will get? You will get minus 127 to 128. This is the range you will get. Okay, up to this any doubt? Because this is important. Why you are doing 127 addition and how to get the range. Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. The idea is to write here only positive numbers. Okay, we don't need any sign bit for the exponent. For the exponent we don't need any sign bit, this plus minus bit. So normally we represent it as first bit as the sign bit and rest 7 bit as the number. But in this case IEEE standard told that don't write it here E, write E dash. What is E dash? E dash is nothing but 127 added to that value. Okay, so E dash is nothing but the original exponent plus 127. That's why it is called excess 127 representation. That means whatever value you are keeping inside E, it is the excess value of 127. So whatever value you will read from E exponent, it is an excess value of 127 because already 127 is added to that value. So tell me, if you are reading the value of E and you got 5, so what will be the actual exponent? Suppose you got 7. Suppose you got 7 when you read the exponent. What will be the original value of exponent? 120. Yes. So actually it is 120. Okay. To get the original value, you have to do minus 127 because this 7 consists of 127 extra. Okay, this 7 comes from after doing the addition of 127. So whenever we want to get the original E, original exponent, you have to do minus 127. Then you will get minus 120 as the exponent. So we can write it as 2 to the power minus 120. Okay, got the logic? So logic is that don't use 2's complement representation in this exponent, use excess 127 representation. So whatever will be the exponent, add 127 to it and convert it into positive number, store it inside this 8-bit format. Okay, done this work. Okay, so whenever we will add 127, the range will become positive, so it will be starting from 0 to 125. If we convert the range to our signed number representation, you will get a range from minus 127 to 128. Okay, so this is our range. So we can represent all the real exponent from minus 127 to 128. Okay, in this the 0 and 255 value, the 0 value and the 255 value are special value, they have some special use. So the real exponent that you can able to use is 1 to 254. Okay, remove 0 and the 255. Okay, and that 0 and 255, these two value will be used later. It will be, we will see what is the special values. Okay, and we can use from 1 to 254. Okay, 0 we have removed, 255 we have removed. Then we can use exponent from 1 to 254 in on signed representation. In signed representation, you can remove minus 127 and 128 because they are the end values, and you can use minus 126 to 127. Okay, then you will get a exponent from 2 to the power 126 to 2 to the power 127, which is a 10 to the power plus minus 38. This is the highest value you can represent using a 32-bit floating point representation, IEEE floating point representation. Instead of using this type of representation, where we can able to use, we can represent only up to 10 to the power 9. Now we can represent plus minus 38, which is a very big number. Okay, understood? So that is our 32-bit representation that you have seen just now. Okay, but there is another type of representation is also there, which is a 64-bit representation. Okay, that also we will see. Do you have any other class after this, or we can continue for 10 minutes? This chapter will be over. You have any other class after this, or you can give me 10 minutes? Anyone? You have a class? Yes or no? No class. Okay. So till now we are looking at 32-bit representation, which is called single precision number. Okay, and 64-bit representation is called the double precision number. Okay, so now we will take one example, and we will see how a number is represented in binary and how to convert it into decimal number. Okay, simple. This is our format, 32-bit format. Okay, this already we have seen. So S will be sign bit, E dash will be in excess 127 format, and M will be 23 bits. Okay, how to calculate the decimal value, decimal equivalent of this binary number? Just do minus 1 of S. Okay, what is minus 1 of S? S means what? S value can be 0 or 1. S is the sign bit. So S value, if S value is 0, this value will be 1, that means positive. If S value is 1, this value will be minus 1, that means it is a negative number. Okay, this concept is clear. Then we know that we have to represent the fractional number. So it is always represented as 1 point mantissa. This is the mantissa or the significant. Okay, so this is the representation. 1 is inherent, you don't have to store 1, that's why we got 23 number of bits in mantissa. Okay, and then multiplied by 2 to the power E dash minus 127, because we have already represented E dash as excess 127. You have to get the original exponent by doing minus 127, like we have done in here, like we have taken example. If E dash is equal to 7, what is the original exponent? 7 minus 127, that is 120. Okay, that thing you have to do here. Okay, let's take one example, you will understand. Very, very simple. Okay, example is given this one. S bit is 0, E dash bit is 0 0 1 0 1 0 0, M bit is 0 0 1 0 1 0, and all other bits are zeros. Okay, how to convert this into decimal? This is one question in the CT2. Okay, so in CT2 up to this it will come. Okay, up to this chapter. After CT1 whatever we have read, up to this chapter it will come. Okay, so this is the sign bit. What to do with the sign bit we already know, that I have not done here. Let's do it here. Okay, So you know what to do with the sign bit. Let's forget about sign bit. Sign bit we will do it later. Let's start with edes. Okay, because we know edes is a little bit complicated. So let's start with edes. Just convert edes value to uh, decimal. So if you convert 0010100, it is, this is 32, this is 8, so total is 40. Okay, we have converted e dash to decimal. Next convert the m to decimal. M value is this one. Okay, this value is m, and as you know, by default m value will have a inherent decimal bit. Okay, this is invisible. Okay, this point bit is invisible, so that means what, there is a point here, there is a decimal point here, so it is 0.001010. Okay, so that means you have to multiply here 0 into 2 minus 1, 2 to the power minus 1, 0 into 2 to the power minus 2, 1 into 2 to the power minus 3, which is 1 into 1 by 8. This is 2 into 2 to the power minus 4, this is 2 to the power minus 5, which is 1 by 32. 2 to the power minus 5 is 1 by 32. Okay, only these two bits are 1, rest all bits are 0, so it is very easy for addition. You do the addition. Okay, whatever way you know. So this is the result at the end. This is the fractional number you get after doing the conversion from this binary number to decimal number. Okay, always remember m is not a normal binary number, it is a decimal number. There is a point, there is a decimal point, and then you have to apply 2 to the power minus 1 in this. Okay, so after this, this is our result. Okay, rest we will find the decimal value. How to find the decimal value? This is the equation. Minus 1 to the power s 1 point m into 2 to the power e dash minus 127. We already know e dash, we already know m, we already know s. Okay, so what is s? S is equal to 0. Okay, so we have inserted s is equal to 0. M you already found out that 15625, so 15625 is m, and you already know e dash. E dash is 40. Okay, e dash is 40, so put 40 here. Okay, then minus 1 to the power 0 is 1. Okay, minus 1 to the power 0 is 1, so that means we ignore those that one, multiplication multiplied by 1.15625 into 2 to the power minus 87, and that is the result. This is the decimal number that we are representing as our IEEE format floating point representation. Okay, very simple. So this thing will come, either will be given a binary number, you have to find the decimal, or a decimal number will be given, you have to find out the binary of that decimal number. Okay, so if you are doing the opposite way, means decimal to binary, you have to remember, you have to add 127 to the exponent before storing it here, because we already always told that this e dash is what, normal e plus 127. So whatever e you will get, that e has to be added back whenever we want to store it in binary form. Okay, so that thing you have to remember. Okay, any doubt in this example? You want to want me to explain again, or anything, any doubt you can ask. This is one question that is coming in your city 2. Okay, then after this there is a 64-bit double precision number. Everything is same, all operations are same, only thing is this part, and this total bit is 64-bit. So this e dash will be 11-bit instead of 8, instead of 23 it will be 52. Okay, so why there is a need of 64-bit double precision number representation? Because we have already seen that here we can represent a number that is 10 to the power plus minus 38. If you want to represent bigger number than this, we have to go to double precision number representation. Okay, so we can represent bigger number or very small number using the double precision representation. So we have to go for 64 bit floating point representation. In this, what you have to see, only difference is this is 11 bit, this is 52 bit, and it is a XS 1023 representation. Okay, it is XS 1023 representation. Like 127, we have to add here 1023 to the exponent. It is XS 1023 representation. Okay, what is the range? It is 0 to 2047. Actually 0 and 2047 are special value, so you have to start from 1 to 2046. Okay, and if you convert it into signed number representation, that means the actual exponent, we can store an exponent of minus 1022 to 1023. Okay, if you are storing this much big number, then what will be the range? So we can calculate 2 to the power minus 1023 to 2 to the power 1023. That is a number which is 10 to the power plus minus 308, which is a very big exponent range. Okay, and 52 bit mantissa, this 52 bit mantissa, in the previous case it was 23 can represent a 7 digit precision. If it is 52, it can represent a 16 decimal digit precision. Okay, so after point you can write 16 precision number, so it is very precise. So there will be 16 number of digits you can write after the decimal number. Okay, so that is the advantage of your double precision. And I have told you normalization. What is normalization? If a number is something like this, you have to normalize it. Then you have to make the first non-zero digit in the first place, and then there will be a decimal. So how to convert it into decimal? Just shift this bit here. So if you are shifting this bit here, that means you have to change the exponent. So 1 is shifted 3 number of places, so reduce 3 from this. This you already know, right? In your mathematics, 6th class mathematics or 7th class mathematics, how to adjust the fractional numbers. You do the same thing in case of this binary fraction also. Now it is normalized. Okay, always the first bit will be 1, that you have to remember. Okay, now it is in normalized. So any binary number will be given in this format, you have to convert it like this. Special values, I have told you 0 and 255 are used for some special representation. So let's see what are those representation. If e dash value is 0 and mantissa is 0, whenever e dash value is 0 and mantissa is 0, it represents plus minus 0. Okay, 0 is represented using this if these two conditions are satisfied. If e dash is also 0 and all mantissa values will be 0, that means all the bits are 0 in mantissa. Okay, then it will represent the value 0, that is plus minus 0. Okay, if e dash is equal to 255 and m is equal to 0, mantissa is 0 and e dash is 255, that means it is representing infinity. Obviously plus minus based on the sign of that number, so it will represent plus minus infinity. Okay, if e dash is 0 but mantissa is not 0, then it will represent a d-normal number. What is a d-normal number? D-normal number is something looks like this. It is violating our what is that representation, because here it is 0 not 1. Okay, this will represent a very small number. Okay, so if we want to represent a very small number after this range, then you can use the special value e dash equal to 0 and m is not equal to 0 to represent those very small numbers. Okay, so it has special value. Then e dash is equal to 255 and m is not equal to 0, then it will represent not a number. Okay, like 0 by 0 division by 0, it is not a number. Root over of minus 1 is not a number. So this type of numbers this thing will represent. Okay, so suppose whenever you are writing your program is running and come to this type of some condition, it will set the exponent bit as 255, it will set the m bit as some non-zero number. Then from that you can able to see that if this type of condition is coming, then we will know that the program will has encountered one exception. This not a number is an exception. Okay, what is an exception? Exception can be of any type. It is like a underflow or overflow. What is underflow and overflow? Suppose we have given the range this one. What if one number will come which is 2000? It is underflow. What is overflow? Overflow if some number will come 2 to the power 2000 bigger than this exponent, so we cannot save that number, that is a overflow. Okay, so what are the exceptions? Exception means if any underflow will occur, if overflow will occur, or you are dividing any number by 0, or it is a not a number, or it is a inexact operation, then in that case exception will occur. Okay, inexact operation means what? Inexact means a result that requires rounding in order to fit normal format. So if any result will come that needs some rounding operation, then that is called inexact operation. So if exception will occur, then processor has to set the exception flag. There will be a flag in the processor. It has to set the exception flag and it has to deal with the exception. So whenever this type of exception will occur, obviously there will be some program will be written for each type of exception. That exception handling it has to do. What is exception? We have already seen in the interrupt chapter. Okay, then as we have already represented the can we define inexact operation again? Okay, inexact operation means if after this we are reading this arithmetic operation. Okay, so in this arithmetic operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, if we will get some result. Okay, after some result, if that result requires rounding operation, rounding means what? Suppose you got one number called 0.111000101 .10. It is normally 32 bit. How many bits are there in Mantissa? 23 bits. But in the result we will get another 2-3 more bits. Okay, suppose we will get 2-3 more bits here. Up to this it is 23 bits, but in the result we are getting some more bits. After the addition, subtraction, multiplication, any operation, we are getting more bits. Then we have to round this result so that it will fit inside 23 bits. Then that is called a inexact operation. In that case also our exception will occur. Okay, it is normal rounding operation, like you do any rounding operation whenever in suppose 1.2367, you have to round it to 1.24. Okay, because it is more than 5, so we can round it up to 3 can be rounded to 4. Okay, so something like this type of operation will occur. Any rounding operation will occur in case of your binary arithmetic in the result, then that is a inexact operation. Okay, so what type of operation this arithmetic operations supports? Obviously the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay, and we know addition, subtraction are similar. Okay, so let's see how to do addition up to floating point number. The same exact way we will do the floating point number. Okay, this binary floating point number addition subtraction also. Okay, it is very same. So if some number will be there 1.25 into 10 to the power 4, you have to add it with 1.55 into 10 to power 2. What you normally do, you have to convert this to 10 to the power 4 format, right? Some number will come here, then you add these two number. Okay, so the same thing we will do it in this case also. So whenever a number is given, two numbers are given, okay, first you have to align it. Align it means you have to convert this smaller exponent number to the bigger exponent number by shifting the bits. This mantissa bits we have shifted 2 bit towards right, okay, so that it becomes 0.0110. This is shifted 2 times right, and we have added plus 2 here in the exponent. Now this exponent and these exponents are same, okay, both exponents are same. We can add this to this. So if we will add these two, the next step is add the mantissa. After that we will get some result. Okay, after you got the result, this is not in normalized form, so you have to normalize it. Okay, how to normalize it? Just shift this 0 towards the right, so that this will come here, this point will come here, because that is the normal form. Okay, and obviously if you shift it towards right, so 4 will become 5, and this is the result. And the result is in your normalized IEEE format. Okay, understood? Very simple. It is the same mathematics as you have read in normal floating point operation. Okay, next is multiplication. Multiplication is also very simple. Like you do multiplication in normal decimal numbers. Some number is there, into 2 to the power a is there, we have to multiply with y with 2 to the power b. What will happen to the exponent? Exponent will be added, a plus b will be there, and x and y will be multiplied. So the resultant will be multiplication of xy into 2 to the power a plus b. We will do the same thing here. Okay, so binary number is given. This is a binary number, this is another binary number. First step is add both the exponent. So 20 plus minus 3, you have to remember that 20 and minus 3 are in e dash form, that is e dash is equal to 127 excess format. So e dash is equal to e plus 127 form. So this is e dash, this is also e dash. So 2 e dash will have 2 127 in it, so you have to subtract 127 from that. Understood? This 20 is nothing but either you convert it into e format, add it, and then you add 127, or you can do addition of these two and remove 127 for it, because 127 is added here excess, here also it is excess. So if you add both, 2 127 will be added. So remove 127 from the exponent, so you will get the new e dash, that is minus 110. You understand what is the concept of subtracting 127? Because both format has 127 inbuilt into it, both are in excess 127 format. Okay, so you remove 127 from the result, then you will get the exponent. What we will do with the mantissa? Obviously you do the multiplication, and you know how to do the multiplication of two fractional binary numbers. Okay, you do it, and then the third phase is the same one. Like here we have done the normalization, you have to do the normalization in the third part. Okay, you have to make the number in this format. So whatever result you will get after mantissa, you have to do the adjustment here. Okay, that thing I am not telling, because you know how to multiply. If you don't remember it, then check the internet and check how to multiply two fractional binary number. How to do the division? Obviously we do the division by subtracting the exponent and add 127 to it. Okay, whenever do the division of two numbers, this number divided by this number, how to do it in normal decimal? You normally do a minus b here, okay, and x divided by y, that is the result. So x divided by y into 2 to the power a minus b, that is the result in case of divide. It's the same thing we will do for binary number as well. Subtract the exponents. As you have subtracted the exponent, both are in EDES format, that means excess binary excess 127 format. You have to add 127 to it. Okay, then divide the mantissa and check the sign. In multiplication also you have to check the sign, because this is positive, this is negative, so output will be negative and some output will come, so you have to check the sign. In case of division also, you have to divide the mantissa, both mantissa you have to divide, and you also you have to check the sign. Suppose you are doing minus a by b, the output will be minus some result will come, so you have to also fix the sign properly. Then do the normalize operation like we have done in the previous steps. Okay, so these are the operation we can perform with our on our floating point operation. Okay, arithmetic of floating point operation is same as the floating point arithmetic in case of decimal number. Okay, so this is the end of this chapter. Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask. And